Okay, so we're gonna paint the butterfly now, the monarch. And as with any great background, don't want it to be the focus. It's a background. It should be a nice backdrop to your central image or your focal point. Now I'm going to be using American Journey tube paints to do the monarch, and I like to mix up brusho with tube paint watercolor. I feel like they both enhance each other, and it's good to have different kind of pigments on one page. It makes it more interesting. So I'm going to be using Naples yellow for the wings and for the body of the monarch. For one, I love that it's an opaque color and it'll cover nicely. And for two, it's just a lovely warm yellow. So let's start in using the squirrel mop, synthetic fabulous brush, and I'm just going to paint this fella with a good amount, and we're going to watch him pop right out. Now it's okay, again, that the background shows through, because these wings are slightly translucent and it'll let the painting have a little life. And as with any painting, it's always a good idea to vary the color. So every now and then, I'm going to take just a little bit of orange and just work it in. Just give it a little bit of color. Love Naples yellow. I learned this color from my friend Don Andrews. He recommended I put it in my palette, and fortunately I had the wherewithal to listen to him, and it's been a great addition. And you can see already our monarch is coming to life. And as you can see, I'm using a pretty good amount of paint. Because the background has bled so much into the butterfly, I want it to stand out, because it's the star of the show. Of course, this painting is really going to pop when we do the dark bands. What a distinctive and beautiful creature. What a blessing. I always feel like when I see a butterfly that I've been visited by a special being. And we need to let that sit for a minute and dry, and then we'll come back and we'll put the finishing touches on this painting. All right, so here we are at the final step, the finishing touches. Now, I believe that this painting will really live, or not, by the darks that we put down now. It's going to make the most stunning contrast. I like to mix my own darks. I don't have any black in my palette. So what I'm going to use is some burnt sienna and ultramarine. Now the reason I like to mix my own darks is if I want cooler shadows, I can add a little bit of cobalt or a little cerulean. And if I want warmer shadows or warmer darks, I can add some crimson or some rose madder. So we're going to start, we need a good dark, dark, dark on this. And I'm going to make this consistency of heavy, thick milk, because we need to have black, black, blacks. So I'm mixing the burnt sienna in a nice big amount, because we're going to do a lot of this. And I'm going to add just a little bit of cobalt to cool it down a little. And there's my dark. That's my dark black. So I'm looking at my iPad here again, and I'm going to go along this tip and just start putting these darks in. Now you notice I am choking the brush up a little bit more control here. And I'm using less water. Less water means more pigment means darker, and we really need good dark darks here. Let's go right along this whole wing here. And we've got some wonderful shapes here. And these values have to be dark. You can't go soft here. So again, I'm using a good amount of paint, not as much water on this wing. These beautiful markings that nature has provided this amazing creature. And just for varied color, I can go back and splash a little cerulean. And maybe even a little turquoise. Just little pieces here and there to make it interesting. Okay, let's mix up some more. Good amount of burnt sienna. And it's great to have just juicy, right out of the tube, toothpaste consistency paint to work with. You don't want to try to take a dry cake of paint and rub it with a wet brush. You need nice, thick, soupy, juicy, delicious colors like that. A little cobalt in there to cool it off. Got a lovely little line along the wing, and then my brush is loaded with paint, just loaded with it. Let's go along and make a nice, dark, bold line. Isn't that fun? And this is going to go right across the top of the wing here too. Just like that. This is getting a little tight, a lot of lines. Let's just loosen it up a tiny bit. Splash a little water on there. And let's lose a little bit of one of these edges. Let's mix up some more dark. We're going to use a lot of paint here. But you know, they make more. And I know art supplies, they're a privilege, but they're worth it. And so we've got these other smaller shapes here. Here's one. This is just the wing oscillating. Trying to remember to keep using nice thick paint and let the pigments do their work, do their thing. All right, so that's 2 wings down. Let's give that a little more love. Now let's move to the lower wing. This one has a nice feature in it. If you look at the bottom of this image, the bottom wing has this beautiful cerulean blue kind of tinge to it. Just magical. Actually, before we do that, while this is still wet on this wing too, let me drop a little the turquoise in like we did up above there, just for interest. There we go. And again, lots of burnt sienna, big glob of French ultramarine. Get nice, thick, wonderful, juicy color. Some cobalt blue to cool it down just a tiny. Now, the wing detail on the bottom, not quite as thick. But this one right here has that beautiful blue, so I'm going to get some cerulean blue on my brush like this, and I'm going to grab this side. It's going to be the dark, so cerulean on one side, dark on the other, and we're going to drag it through there and see what happens. Let's add a little bit more, a little turquoise and cerulean. So I really want that pretty blue to show up. And let's finish the rest of the black off. You're seeing the butterfly start to come to life. It definitely will be the centerpiece of this painting. And our lovely foliage in the background, it floats away and does what it's supposed to do. It supports us.
got this lovely dark spot here and a little bit of light showing through. And this, I would have to say, is a pretty important spot right here. A couple legs here. There's a little knee. And this one comes out like this. Yay! Now to do the antennas, I'm going to switch to the lizard lick. So I don't want those too thin, and you don't want to paint worms. You want these to definitely be delicate. So I'm going to do this kind of sort of broken. There you go. And there's another little something there. Let's work on the points of these legs a little bit. And I have one more thing I want to do around the eye when it dries in just a minute. But now you see how beautiful and bold these shapes are. And we really have a wonderful monarch here. Let's just let this dry for just a minute, and we'll come back and put the last finishing touch around the eye, and we'll be finished with our painting. So let's put the finishing touches on this. I feel like the foliage needs a little something to support it. So I'm going to put some vines or some branches or stems in. And I feel like a little burnt umber, a nice dark brown. With a little bit of this ultramarine mixed in, ought to just do the trick. And not much, just a little bit of brown, just to give it a little support. And then trail off. And now we'll work on the eye. I'm going to take a credit card and I'm going to just scrape around this just to lighten that up a little bit. And then my lizard lick for detail. And there it is, a monarch butterfly with brush of foliage in the background. You can use this in almost any background situation, and the same technique with the big drops of water and tying it together and dropping the brusho in. You can do that with regular paint also, and it makes amazing cloudy skies with silver linings. But that's a video for another time. Hope you enjoyed this. Thank you very much.